my personal painful moment.
Welcome to Ukraine!
Hundreds of kilometers from battles raging in the country's east and south, Ukrainians in Kyiv are preparing to celebrate Christmas. In the midst of the war's darkness, Ukrainians continue the tradition as old as time itself, the one that echoes resilience of our ancestors, who, through the longest nights and the coldest days, celebrated hope and light. Kyiv's cozy restaurants and cafes are playing Christmas music. Many of them have set up Christmas decorations. The environment in the city feels vibrant, especially in comparison to the previous year. Last year, Ukrainians celebrated Christmas during massive blackouts and explosions that did not stop for Christmas Eve or New Year's. Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine has impacted every aspect of life for Ukrainians, even the date we celebrate Christmas. For the longest times, Ukrainians celebrated Christmas on January 7th, not December 25th like the rest of the world. Under the Russian influences, Ukrainian churches used to use an absolute Julian calendar, which runs 13 days behind the Gregorian calendar used by the majority of the world. Earlier this year, the Orthodox Church of Ukraine, the country's biggest church, officially switched to the revised Julian calendar. And the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church switched to the Gregorian calendar. So now, both will celebrate Christmas on December 25th. The date may have changed, but how Christmas is celebrated in Ukraine, with its foods and traditions, have remained the same for hundreds of years. Right now we're at a Christmas market in Kyiv that's called Courage Bazaar. And the entire market, you can see how everything is focused on Ukrainian tradition. You can see Ukrainian traditional clothes, jewelry, house decoration that is inspired by our tradition. Because even though the war that Russia brought to Ukraine brought so much suffering and took so much from Ukrainians, but something that this war gave to us was it pushed Ukrainians to take a step back and to look back at our traditions and our roots and to start celebrating our culture in the way that never was celebrated before.
Saint Vassal's Day, after Christmas, people gather in the village and they go to every house and they celebrate a kind of a carnival, basically like people are well familiar with Halloween or Day of the Dead in Mexico and other traditions like that. It's basically that. It's the middle of winter. A lot of people were dying previously in these times, and the celebration is a way to celebrate life. And now it's especially valuable because the celebrations now are not very celebratory.
В кишеню гроші! Дай Боже! В голову розум! Дай Боже! Україні перемоги! Дай Боже! І вас усіх з Різдвяними святами і з Новим роком! Дай Боже!
А хто видів костюм Шандаря? Є. Оце є костюм Шандаря. Загалом, по факту, це є піджак з секонд-хенду, але обшитий різними всякими штуками. Шандар є ведучим Маланки, умовно поводирем. Він не є головним персонажем, але є одним з таких, тих, хто... Боже, вона мокра, ми маланкували. Вона все.
So today I'm playing a grandfather. I wanted to continue being a poet, being a person of museum stories and doing cultural excursions, and just living my own truth in the region where I come from. This all has been robbed from me. I'm a war journalist. A lot of my people here, a lot of my friends here are involved in volunteering. And we're basically sacrificing this time now, not to do what we usually do, but to now still bring attention. And it's nice that we can bring attention from people from the West as well, not just from our own people, because I know that it's a capitalist world and people, it's easy to lose attention, it's easy to live your normal life, but for us it's not about political discourse, it's not about relationship, it's about real friends that we lose. In my village, from 130 carolers who go in Kryvyi to carol, 13 died in this year and a half. So after we are done with Christmas in my village on 25th, we will go to my friend's house. And he's not killed in action, he's just lost. There was a shot from the tank, and he was covered in dirt, and we don't even know what to carol to his parents. It's not gonna be a mortuary song, because we don't know if he's dead. It's not gonna be a celebratory song, because we don't know if he's in prison, and maybe we should, I guess, as a gesture, sing something to celebrate his life, even if he's in prison. So we do not even have the tradition form for the expressing what we have now. But we still have the memory of those people who came before us, and even under harsher circumstances.
Колядка is a pre-Christian tradition. During this time, carolers go and wish people all the best for the year ahead. But they also warn that if they don't get anything in return, as the tradition goes, they will wreak havoc. In general, this tradition is a connection with the family and with ancestors. Abroad, they don't celebrate like we do. They may carol, but they don't have колядки.
Welcome to Ukraine!
After you see all of the celebration and all the decoration and costume and Christmas ornaments and food, you turn just one turn to the left, and then there's a bunch of people who are working tirelessly to collect donation and raise money to support their soldiers who can't go home for Christmas. You realize that so many families in Ukraine are not able to forget about the war even for the Christmas. They're not able to pause the war. They're not able to get their fathers, their husbands, their family, their siblings, their family members back home for a weekend, for a holiday break, because the war doesn't have holidays. It doesn't stop for Christmas. And many people are not going to be able to come home for a break, and many people are not going to be able to come home at all because they lost their lives to this senseless war that Russia started in Ukraine.
At this fair, our foundation, together with the company Helsi, is collecting donations to prepare 10 backpacks for combat medics. The backpacks will be fully equipped with all the necessary equipment so that the medics are able to stabilize the wounded as early as possible. In most cases, medical supplies are single-use. That's why we need so many of them. If a tourniquet gets used, it's done, and so we need to get a new one.
Дивись, друже, ми не продаємо, на жаль, нічого, на щастя.
Я хочу обрати участь в розіграші.
Чудово.
І записуємо твоє ім'я. За ваш щедрий донат ви можете вибрати прикраси на ялинку.
Все? Дякую.
Де б ви, як би не святкували своє Різдво.
No matter where you are and how you celebrate these winter holidays, you are able to celebrate because of our soldiers who are currently fighting to give you this opportunity. I'm not only saying this to civilians in Ukraine, but also to all of Europe and the entire world.
Всьому світу, всій Європі.
Hey there, my name is Artur Kornienko. I'm a Kyiv independent reporter on long leave, currently serving in the armed forces of Ukraine. Go Ukraine! For the second year straight, I'll be spending the holidays on the front line with the boys. Can't say we'll be doing anything special because we don't have much downtime and we currently work night shifts. But when we do get a break, we usually go to the sauna to warm up that blood and bones. That's what our holiday is probably gonna be this year, a winter sauna. But that said, we are getting a Christmas tree and exchanging gifts for the holiday spirit. Seasonal greetings to you all, and keep fighting for what's good.
Amidst the festivities, many Ukrainians come together to support one another and to bring some Christmas spirit into the lives of those affected most by the brutal reality of this war.
Our main goal is to support children who lost one or both parents because of war. We have wishes from our children and they say like what they want to receive, and we are trying to find this individual gift for each child. So here we have different holiday gifts. For example, this one a toy, a doll for a girl, and we also have a lot of different books, constructors for boys. Here we have already started packing some individual boxes. For our families under our funds care, it's a very psychologically difficult period of time because when all of us celebrate, for most of them this is the first time when they, I can't even say celebrate, when they enter this period without their closest ones. Last year we had the same initiative. We decided to fulfill our children's dreams and ask them what they want the most in life. When a child who is 10 years old tells that his main wish is to visit his father's grave, it's very painful, and of course you know that no matter how many gifts or help we provide, we can never return their parents and bring them back to life. And this year so many children made letters saying that the only I know, I'm sorry, it's just my personal painful moment that they only wished for peace for Ukraine, and they don't want anything for themselves, any toys, nothing, just peace for our country.
The charity organization Children of Heroes receives hundreds of letters from Ukrainian children this season, and I'll read you just this one letter they shared with us. Hello Santa, my name is Daniil and I am 5 years old. I am from Mariupol. Since I cannot write yet, my granny is helping me with this letter. I know you bring presents to good children, and I promise to be an honest and a kind boy. I'm dreaming about a tent with stars on it. I love looking at the sky and the stars, because that's where my mom and dad live now. Despite the hard reality of war and limited financial resources, many cities around Ukraine have set up Christmas trees to create an atmosphere of holidays and uplift people's spirits. In total, 62,000 hryvnias, which is a tiny bit over $1,500 American dollars, were spent to buy Christmas trees and New Year's decorations from the budget in 17 oblasts in Ukraine, according to the analysis by the movement Chesna. Many cities around Ukraine decided not to set up Christmas trees this year. In many cities close to the front line, trees were not set up out of safety concerns. But in some cities, like Zaporizhia and Kharkiv, they've adjusted to the sad reality of the war. And in Zaporizhia, they've set up a Christmas tree in an air raid shelter. And in Kharkiv, they've actually set up a Christmas tree in the metro station a second year in a row. The main Christmas tree of Ukraine is set up in Sofievska Square in Kyiv. The 12-meter tall tree is decorated with yellow and blue hearts. Organizers named the decorations Brave Hearts and dedicated them to Ukrainian defenders. I'm sure that many people here, myself including, are so grateful for the light and for the decoration, for the holiday spirit that we can feel even during the war. Because last year during this time there were blackouts, so the Christmas tree was lit up with generators. However, when we remember our lives and the Christmas trees and the decorations and holiday time before full-scale invasion, it is hard not to be sad for everything that we have lost when full-scale invasion of Ukraine has started. Many things have changed in the way we celebrate Christmas in Ukraine, but what hasn't changed is the tradition of serving 12 dishes on the Christmas Eve, known as Sveta Večerya or the Holy Supper. Right now we're going to make the main dish of the evening, Kutia. That's something between porridge and pudding, usually made from boiled grains such as wheat, rice or pearl barley, and heavily seasoned with honey, nuts, dried fruits, and poppy seeds. We're also going to be adding some lemon and ginger just to spice it up a little bit. According to the tradition, eating this dish on the Christmas Eve would lead to good livestock, harvest, and procreation in the upcoming year. There is a belief that on this evening, our ancestors come from their world to join us for the festive dinner. This recipe of kutia, it's my family's recipe, that's how we've cooked it for many years, but there are so many different variations of how this meal could be made. So let's start cooking. We add pearl barley to the boiling water. While the grain is boiling, we're gonna cut dried apricots. We're gonna chop some walnuts. We need to grate just a tiny bit of ginger. According to the tradition, Christmas Eve celebration begins with the appearance of the first star. Families start cooking dinner together and they make 12 dishes. And 12 dishes symbolize 12 apostles or the month of the year. And now that our grain is boiled, we just need to add everything together and mix. Before mixing all the ingredients, we also added some butter or oil. And then we add 1 or 2 tablespoons of lemon. Now that all the ingredients are added and everything is mixed in, we need to leave it for 2 hours. You can leave it overnight, but then you can enjoy your kutia on a Christmas Eve dinner. Just bumped into Francis at this event. Francis is our frontline reporter for the Kyiv Independent. What are you doing here? Are you enjoying your time here?
I mean, you just look around, like you have to be here. Like it's just such an expression of joy during the winter, and like so many people I know around here, like people from my circles of friends of like folk singers and musicians, and so it's always fun. In summer we could do the same thing, but outside in the middle of Kyiv, looking down onto the river Dnipro, and now it's in a barn where they normally hold raves, but you know, it is what it is.
I took my jacket off because it's really hot, because we were just doing some dancing, if you probably saw. So I didn't have a partner, and you needed to have a partner, so I just came up to the first woman that smiled at me, and I offered her to dance, and she said yes right away. And all these people who don't know each other were dancing all together, and you really feel the unity and the identity, because all of us are celebrating the upcoming Christmas, the life that we do have. Even though there's war happening, we have this chance to celebrate, to come together as this Ukrainian community that is now stronger than ever. And the more Russia pushes to destroy our identity. The more Russia brings war to this country, it only makes Ukrainians stronger and puts them closer together to their roots, to their identity, to our culture, and to each other.